Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We are live. We've had a draw, which felt like a defeat. We've had a defeat, which felt like the league could potentially be over, but there's still plenty of time for redemption, and it starts tomorrow. Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and then the rest of the season to come. I'm joined by Steve, Kay, and Melvin Marks. How's everyone doing today?
Yeah, good, mate. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Oh, yeah, fine, thanks. Fine, thanks, Kieran.
All right. Since we didn't really speak about it since last week, we'll start with the draw against Bayern Munich. Steve, after the game, it felt like a little bit of a defeat. Arsenal started the game really, really well, but then, like we saw earlier on in the season, allowed Bayern Munich to get some momentum, feel a bit more comfortable in the game, and actually gave them far too many opportunities in the game after that as well, didn't they?
Yeah, it seems a long while ago now for some reason. So much has happened since then. But yeah, I mean, I think we probably, we gave them probably a little bit, maybe too much respect. I thought we give them let them have too much control of the ball, or maybe it was just that Bayern Munich, look, they've got some great players, and and all right, they haven't had a great season, but maybe on the day, I thought their top players really stood up, and it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like men against boys, but you could actually see that Bayern Munich, they're a team that's sort of like with their players have played in the Champions League a lot, and they seemed a lot more used to it than ours. I didn't think it was a terrible performance. Yeah, in the end, it did getting the goal back at 2-2. Looking at it, sort of, in the longer picture after the game, I just felt that it wasn't a bad result. The way I looked at it, it was that if we was given the opportunity, at the beginning of the season to go to Bayern Munich and have a shootout to go into the next round to take it. But I was hoping, maybe sillily to sort of go there, win two by 2 goals and get the job done. But it was a bit silly, really, because, like I said, they've got some really good players, Bayern Munich, and on the day, players like Kimmich and Kane and these Goretzka was absolutely outstanding, and Lema, they these players who were just like consistently playing Champions League football every season. I mean, it really showed when it come to that one-off game of going. They showed us what we got to do tomorrow. When we go away there to try and control it, because they really did. But look, it was a good goal in the end. Nice little bit of skill from Jesus. He come on, made an impact. Good finish from Trossard. So, look, we're still in with a chance.
All right. Melvin, after Bukayo Saka put Arsenal in early lead on the 16th minute, you must have felt, especially after 12th minute, especially after straight away they kept on going, that this could be a really big win. But then it sort of came crashing down pretty much after Ben White had an opportunity to maybe put Arsenal in the lead, and maybe it was asking a bit too much of a right back to thrash it in the back of the net. But it was quite a big turning point at that point.
Yeah, I mean, had it been 2-0, I think we would have been talking about a completely different story. When it was 1-0, and we missed that chance, that golden opportunity, you've got to remember it was only about 15, 16 minutes gone in the game. We're 1-0 up, we're at home, and they are a fantastically good counter-attacking side. They've got direct players, fabulous ball control, and they're fast. I mean, extra fast. It was frightening. So I don't understand. I just don't understand why we didn't play we're 1-0 up. Let's just sit back another 10 yards. Let them come at us. Because I don't think they would have broken us down that much if we would have played a little bit more backwards, give a bit of a territory away. And it suited them for us to keep attacking them. Because what happened was we had gaps at the back. Our left back didn't have a great game, let's face it, because he's not a left back. And they exploited that. very, very well. You know, you're 1-0 up, even if it remains 1-0. Your priority is not to try and go for another one, though it's lovely to be 2-0 up, especially after 15 minutes. You always go for another one later on in the game. If you stop them from scoring, it's match advantage, isn't it, for the second leg? And you don't know, we might nick another one. So, as I say, when we attack them, there were gaps appearing. It was like we didn't have home advantage after that, did we? Because it was like you attack, we'll attack, and they were much faster than us going forward. So it's a bit disappointing, but you know, if we'd won 1-0, we'd still need to do a job tomorrow night. It's 2-2. I suppose mentally, what's worrying with me is have we run out of steam, because we looked a little bit leg tired on Sunday. I must admit, we'll come to that. I'm sure we will. So had we been in the same form as we've been a couple of weeks ago, and we're like on all, you know, we're actually firing all cylinders, I think I'd have fancied this tomorrow night, even against a very good Bayern Munich team with all the experience.
Yeah. Steve, do you think we were a little bit naive last week in the game against Bayern? When you just go for their players, I know there was a certain section of, I feel like, fans, maybe even pundits as well, that kind of underestimated Bayern Munich because they weren't in great form. But when you go for their team, as you said earlier, Harry Kane, he's the best striker in the world at the moment. Jamal Musiala, Leroy Sané, who's been a massive thorn in Arsenal's side many a time before. Serge Gnabry, quality player. And the thing with Leroy Sané, he's not just pace; he's so intelligent on the ball. As you said, Goretzka was excellent on the night.
Yeah.
Joshua Kimmich is one of the best right backs in the world if he's not playing in midfield. Alphonso Davies is one of the most sought after left backs in the world, and Manuel Neuer, who's experience. You saw it big time the other day, doing kick-ups in the air. He's possibly the most composed goalkeeper of all time. You can see there's a lot of experience, and it was kind of they used it to their advantage last week.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, all of us, were a little bit guilty of sort of, you know, I was for certain. You know, let's go there. Let's because up to then, you know, up to the Bayern game, we've been blowing teams away. So, you know, I was thinking, well, let's go for them. You know, let's go and beat them. But as I say, I don't think we took into into the considerations, you know, how good this Bayern side, and a lot of people just got led into the fact that, well, you know, they've had not a great season by their standards. They're way off Leverkusen. They're not going to win the league. Now, all of a sudden, you know, Bayern are this terrible football club, and they ain't the Bayern that we've known and, you know, begrudgingly loved over the past 10 years. But that's, I think we, you know, maybe Arteta did probably get led into that a little bit as well, because they did take control of it, and whatever we've thrown them, even when they was pushing them, like we was pushing them, and we was, you know, we had them on the back foot. Okay, yeah, look, we scored a goal, and it was a great goal from Saka, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It wasn't an easy goal to score. Do you know what I mean? It was a lovely shot, you know, into the corner, a brilliant piece of skill. But they never panicked, did they? We seem to panic. Yeah. You know, we go beyond. We seem to rush everything. Okay, we got the goal back, but we seem to rush. We panic. We go, oh no, what's going on? When like we scored our goal, you know, it didn't seem to bother Bayern. But when Bayern got their goal, you know, we seemed to fall apart. It was like, oh my god,
past the halfway line at points. It was going home.
Exactly, mate. We didn't know what to do when we went 1-0 up. We was like, the inexperience of the Champions League games, and we keep saying it all the time. It is different. It is different. You can't take league form into the Champions League. You know, we know this. We played Porto. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, you're going to blow Porto away. They're this, they're that. They play in a Farmers League." No, we've seen, you know, how many times we've seen it before. These teams playing the Champions, they know how to play these games, these two-legged games. They're experienced. We've got to learn in the next game right? Not to play like the way we did in the previous game, because if we do, then they'll beat us. But I do agree with you. I think we was white knight, but it's not to be. It is part of the learning process.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you just
definitely.
hope that they can learn from it.
I agree. It brings me on to my second point. As Melvin, we've been exceptional in the league defensively, but did we show our inexperience and we showed that this is the part of the learning curve that will take these players to the next level? Like Saliba, we saw in the Porto game, he seemed a bit all over the place at points. We saw in the Lens game again, he was a bit all over the place. These games are surely going to help him in his progression as a footballer. And we also need to take a step back and realise he's still got a long way to go in his development.
Oh, definitely. And not only just him, but all the team, really. And also what we underestimate, perhaps, is we're playing against very astute managers now. I'm not saying the Premiership ain't got good managers. They have. But I think some of the ones we're playing against are a little bit above that. And if you've got any weaknesses, they will sniff it out very quickly. Things like that. You cannot play a centre half at left back against Sane, right? Against other wingers or wide players, if you like, in the Premiership, you get away with it. You can't with Sane. He's so good. I remember him from his Man City days. You're right. He used to torment us. It was frightening to watch. And he seems to have just got better, it seems. You cannot play, as I say, you get away with it. There'll be the odd, someone will come and give Q or a bit of help. But they were so fast at Bayern that when Son had the ball, it was normally 1-on-1. And that was not fair. They should have handicapped him, I reckon. That wasn't fair.
You should have played. I thought I picked the team like before the game. Sorry, I just got sidetracked by Barcelona scoring. But I thought he was going to play Tommy Asu. I thought that was a no-brainer. I really thought. I'm trying to. As I say, it was so long ago. Was he fit then, Tommy Asu? Was he on the bench?
I think he was on the bench. Yeah, but he hadn't. I'm not sure he played in the game before. I just have a quick check, but I don't even think he came as a sub.
Yeah, he would have been the guy if fully fit, if he could play for 90 minutes. He would have been the guy who could play, because Zinchenko certainly wouldn't have been the answer. So if Tommy Asu wasn't fully fit, then I do get why he played Kior. I do understand.
He came as a sub in the previous game against Brighton, so he did have a bit of game time.
Yeah, so he may have made a mistake not paying Tommy Asu. In hindsight, I'd say that he probably did if fit, but if not, I can understand why he played Kior. I get it, I get it. But he never had a good game. But to be fair to Kior, do you know what I mean? He has played well over the last 10, 15 games or however many he's started for Arsenal. So,
and he is playing out of position as well.
Yeah, and he would have earned his place by none of us, when Kior was there. I mean, I don't think any Arsenal fans was like, questioning it. It was only because he had a bad game. Then we're going, do you know what I mean? But I think we've got to, be a little bit like, with Kyo. He's only sort of had a really one bad game.
That's because he played Sane against Sane. He doesn't do that every week, does he?
No, that's right, mate. He doesn't do that. And generally, Arteta does bring in a Tommy Asu when you've got that fast winger, doesn't he? He normally plays him. But yeah, we've got to learn.
All right, Melvin, what's your take on the penalty at the end? The last-ditch chance, Saka through 1-on-1 with the keeper. Was it a dive?
I don't think it was a dive. I think it was a penalty, and I don't think it was a dive. I mean, I sat there. And you think, well, penalty. In fact, I was a bit upset with him. I thought he had a chance from seeing it once, I thought he could have shot. There was an open goal, basically an open goal. And I thought, why didn't he shoot? But yeah, he just got brought down. And when he didn't give it, I thought, really? Listen, we've all got rose-tinted glasses. If you're not an Arsenal supporter, it's not a penalty. If you're an Arsenal supporter, it's a penalty. It's so... I don't understand football anymore, genuinely. For me, it was a penalty. The keeper's foot brought him, knee brought him down. You can't read people's minds. Did he intentionally bring him down? I think he probably did, but you can't prove that. But he never got the ball, the keeper, and he brought him down. Next.
Steve, I'll ask you a different question. Do you feel like the referee should have allowed it to go to VAR? I know you're not a fan of it. Do you think that he should have left that decision to VAR and which would have given him an opportunity to look at it a bit more closely, or do you think he made the decision and then it's his decision final? What I found odd was the fact that he ran down the tunnel so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he did. It seemed like he bottled it to me, and I think because of the last, because of it was sort of the last kick of the game, wasn't it? I mean, he blew the whistle. I think he did bottle it, but yeah, I mean, to be here, I don't think it was a penalty.
Really, Steve?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. No,
right. Fair enough.
I mean, and at the time when I actually see it happen, watching the game, I was absolutely screaming at the TV, shouting for a penalty. How is that not a penalty? I mean, next door neighbours must have been hearing me. Do you know what I mean? I was absolutely fuming. But the more I kept seeing it, but he runs into his leg. He does. He does go for. He does. Well, I mean,
you purposely do it.
Yeah.
Why would he do that when there's an open goal? I don't understand.
I've played as a winger, and I've run at people like that, and you could see you could say it's clever, and I've seen them given, and that's why
clever, is it?
And that's
Harvey Barnes only a few days earlier for Liverpool against Manchester United. He bought a foul.
Yeah, but he did. Do you know what I mean? It's like you said to me when I looked it back. I'm thinking, why didn't you go round him? He tends to go more.
He didn't have to go round him.
He moved. His right leg to me goes into Neuer's leg. He moves into his leg, and then he goes going down the other way. I mean, I'd hate. I've watched it back and I've had to take it from a biased point of view. I mean, I might be wrong. It just, do you know what I mean? As I say, I've seen them given, but if I was like on Bayern and I was given, I would be screaming that you've gone for that and you've tried to get that and get a penalty.
I think that if you'd have gone to VAR, I think it would have stood that it's not a penalty because they would have made excuse about it not obvious. It wasn't an obvious mistake. I hate the expression. I hate it. It's not. It's a cop out.
It's either a mistake or it's not.
I think Neuer's a very experienced goalkeeper. I don't think he would have brought him down. It looked like he stepped back more than anything.
It's that leg flick at the end, which is a bit.
Well, it is what it is. We've got to do a job tomorrow night now.
I mean, they could have had one as well.
I was just about to ask. I was about to say, what was your take on the Gabriel picking up the ball?
I never saw it on the night. Honestly, I didn't see it on the night.
I've never seen it.
That is crazy.
What did he do that for?
I don't know. I just think it was a lapse in
brain.
He switched off. I think he switched off.
What is the rule? Off. You're not. I've seen him in the league pick it up.
When you can't handball it up.
No, it's because he blew the whistle. So he blew the whistle for the goalkeeper to take the goal kick. He then passed that ball, and Gabriel's just thinking he's passing the ball to take the
I see. Kick. I didn't know.
He then passed it to him, and it was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Yeah. And I mean, if I was a Bayern Munich fan, I'll be going mental.
Yeah.
Do you think? Do you think the referee tried to even it up then?
He could have. Good point.
I think he did. I think he's remembered that one because they made a big thing of it as well. The Bayern Munich players, and then he said to Thomas Tuchel that it was a schoolboy error. I can't allow the quarterfinals to be judged on a schoolboy error like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a point. I think he has got a point. I mean, it would have been like, a silly thing to give a penalty for. Do you know what I mean? But
if it was ever going to happen to a team, it was going to happen to us, wasn't it?
Yeah,
He do give silly things
And
away.
Gabriel.
but he won't do it again, will he?
He won't do it again. He won't do it again. He will definitely learn from mistakes. Let's move on to the preview for tomorrow's game. Start with you, Melvin. Would you start Tomiyasu in at left back tomorrow?
You've got to. There's no other one.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other one you can put. Who else are you going to put? You can't put Chichenko in. I mean, no. That shouldn't be allowed to kick off before 8:00 in case children are watching. But also you can't have the Kiwa because he's got the he's got the evil eye on him. He's much better than him. So it's got to be. It's got to be Tommy. Got to be Tommy.
Yeah.
Steve, starting with Tommy as well.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think it's got to be Tommy. Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility Sani might not be playing. So, I mean, Tuchel in his conference a little bit earlier was saying that he's been playing through training with a knock. So, but he should be fit. But yeah,
he's got a knock, Steve. It means he only can run at 100 miles an hour now.
Yeah. But Tommy can deal with him. Tommy's dealt with better players than Sane.
Salah. So do you bring in Trossard? He's been a big impact when he's come on, and he's played well in Europe as well. Do you start with Gabriel Jesus, who's got a very good European record and came on and made a difference the other day? How do you play it? I mean, Martinelli's been quiet in the last couple of games. What would you do, Steve?
Oh, it's it's really hard. It's really tough. Yeah, if I go for material, obviously be Raya White, Gabriel Saliba, Tommy. If it's not Tommy, it's Kior, but ideally Tommy, Jorginho, obviously, and then Rice, Odegaard. And then the three up front gets a bit complicated. This is where it gets complicated for me. Saka obviously starts. The big person down the middle, I think it's got to be Havertz. He ain't really done a lot wrong, since recently at all. And he offers so much more than Jesus, I think, at this moment in time. Yeah, and then you've got to pick. You've got Jesus, you've got Martinelli, and you've got Trossard. You could pick any one of them. It's a tough one. You've got Jesus. You think of his Champions League experience. We know he scores goals for some reason. When the Champions League music sounds, Jesus seems to come to life. And then you've got Trossard, who we know if we need someone to finish on the night. We'll probably talk about the Villa game, but maybe his finishing worked great the other night. But Martinelli, I'd probably go safe early on. Oh, I don't know. It's just. Yeah, do you know what? See, Trossard's sometimes he is better impacting from the bench, and look, it's a flick of a coin. It could be if we had a three-headed coin, but I'd probably go for Martinelli.
All right. Melvin, who would you start? Are you going to start with Trossard, Jesus? Give us your starting lineup for tomorrow.
I agree with Steve. Apart from Jesus, I play Jesus on the left because of his experience. He seems to be playing better in Europe than he does in the Prem.
Mm-hmm.
You can't start with Trossard because Trossard, in all fairness, is as Steve said, he's an impact player. Full stop. He's very rarely done it from the kickoff, and I've just got that cloud over my head, which we'll talk about later, about that miss of his the other day.
Yeah. We would definitely get onto that.
No, I'd have Jesus, definitely, yeah.
Okay, you'll start with Jesus. Steve, do you reckon a win today could really help with the confidence after the loss tomorrow? Sorry, help with the confidence after the loss against Aston Villa and push through so we can see out this season really well? Because last season, although it did seem like it was over after those losses, it was the way we finished the season. Another loss to Nottingham Forest. Albeit the season was over at that point in terms of winning the league, but you just still want to carry on a good run towards the end of the season. Do you think it's important that we do that? Do you think this game can kick that on.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think this is after Sunday. I feel this is a bit of a blessing in disguise that we've got this game. We've got this massive football match, and we've got this opportunity now. Well, exactly like what you said before, we've just gone into Premier League game to another Premier League game. We've got an opportunity now of going to the Allianz, going and beating the Bayern side, which I believe we can, and I feel quite confident that we can.
Mm-hmm.
And then winning that, and then that hopefully sort of breeds confidence into the players, and then breeds even more confidence in the fans, and we can get back to this. Not me personally, but then the fans can start believing again, because it seemed after one loss, the fan base is falling apart, and all of a sudden we're the worst team on the planet.
We'll also get onto that as well.
We'll get onto that later. But yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. If this game wasn't happening this week, we'd be going into Wolves. So yeah. I'm excited, mate. I'm excited, and I think. Yeah, I think Mikel Arteta be well pleased. This is what we're here for, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? This is where we wanted to be. Like this season, we've come on the show, and we're all will we make Champions League football? Will we beat Sporting, get into the quarters of the Europa League? This is what we've been talking about. This is what we wanted, isn't it? This is like a shootout now to get in and now kickstart our title run again. It's brilliant, but. I'm confident, mate. I'm confident we can do it. And yeah, to answer your question, I think it's fantastic we got this game. And yeah, I mean, if we can win it, and then we go into Wolves buzzing, then don't we? And then, who knows what can happen for the rest of the season?
Yeah. Mel, do you think this game is helpful to take our mind off the Premier League for 24 hours? And if we do get a result, could really help us towards the end of the season in the Prem?
Yeah, I do. I think it's nearly, not quite. The way things, it's nearly a free hit. No one's expecting us really to do much now. We got beat the other day. We only got a draw against them at home. They are definitely the favourites, so I don't mind that. So it's kind of a free hit. But something is quite strange. There's a podcast I used to listen to, and one of the guys, there were two of them, are absolutely excellent. And one of them wrote yesterday, "Do you think it's better if Arsenal get beat tomorrow?" I mean, what are you sure?
In what way?
I couldn't believe it. I looked at the tweet. I thought, no, he can't mean. No, he does. And I put something on there as well. I says, I put something on like, have you been? I didn't say drugs. Have you been taking something? Because it was ridiculous. I mean, he thinks because if we win, we've got more games to play.
But I don't understand. It's never been.
It's momentum.
Sorry, just
it's momentum, innit?
Exactly. We were here last season. We were here the season before, and that same question got asked. We got knocked out of the tournaments, and we still didn't go on to win. So does that not tell you that you need that momentum? Take your mind off it. You're putting all your eggs into one basket. It's a lot of pressure when you've got to focus one game a week. It's got to be that. We didn't do too well in that. We were out of Europe completely, and we were trying to get top four. That one game a week when it comes to the end, it's all that pressure on that game. It's so important. I wouldn't
want us to lose if we're playing the League Cup.
Yeah.
Let alone the quarters of the
Champions League.
The Champions League.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the thinking was there behind it. It doesn't. There's no sense in that at all, is there? Really, I can't.
Look, Steve. If Arsenal get knocked out tomorrow, would they surely the players would be devastated? They're like it's a loss in a cup competition in the latter stages of it. They'll be probably thinking about. They don't want to overthink it, but they will probably thinking about that first leg when they have opportunities to maybe kill it off early doors. Did they make the right move? Did they defend well enough? A lot of those things will go through their head if they go out tomorrow, and especially if they're not even putting it in.
What will happen? If we get beat tomorrow, it will be the energy will go. I fear more than anything else. The energy.
Yeah, is that something you worry about, Steve?
Yeah, it's the only thing I worry about. Because I don't worry about the ability of the players. We know we've got what it takes. We've seen it all season. We are a team now that can win the Premier League with the squad we got. It's capable. you know, last season we had gaps. Do you know what I mean? There was holes that needed filling, and this season, we've more or less done that. But yeah, if fatigue starts to hit them, then that starts to, that starts getting into their heads a bit, and their legs start to go. Then that's my only fear. That's my only fear, because they look tired against. I mean, we'll go on to it, I know, but because they looked a bit tired against Villa. Do you know what I mean? And if they look like it again tomorrow, and if they look a bit tired and a bit drained, you think maybe it's all a bit too much for us again. Maybe the adrenaline's going, and but this is look, as I said just a little while ago, this is what we wanted to be here for. You know, the fans and the players. There's this game tomorrow now where you can show everybody that, you know, we're not out of the Champions League, we're not out of the title race, and, you know, winning can bring back some of that fatigue, can bring back some of that, you know, power in your legs. So yeah, but then I mean, if there was one thing would worry on, was whether they burnt out, knackered, tired, fatigued,
mental fatigue,
mental fatigue. Yeah.
Yeah, Henson said Arsenal played in 7 European Cup stroke Champions League away quarterfinals in history with a record of 3 draws and 4 losses. It's time to make history. It definitely is. It'd be a big win if Arsenal could win at the Allianz Arena. You want to take a draw, penalty shootout? I'll take it all.
I'll take it.
I'll take it right now. Let's get on to the Aston Villa game. Mel, shock defeat to Aston Villa. Started off okay, had an opportunity to score. Trossard missed a big miss, and Arsenal then went on to lose and not even score at home. Is that a worry for you at this stage in the season, or is it to be expected that they're going to drop points at some point?
It's the way we dropped them, Kieran. Yeah. It wasn't we dropped points. I mean, you can all have a go at a team for dropping points. We've won 10 out of 11 or something like that, haven't we? Before that game. So, you know, law of averages, right? We're not Man City, who can win 20 out of 20 on the spin. We're getting close, but we're not Man City. So it was the first half, we really played well. But I was so disappointed. I felt like, you know, sometimes when you watch a game and at half time, you're drawing, but you feel like you're losing. That's exactly what I felt like, because I said to Craig, I said, you know what? If you don't score goals, you don't win games. And I said, I've seen this before. We hit him with everything first half. They hit the post, I know, from a Gabriel silly mistake. I mean, he's got that in him, isn't he? Just that lack of something. He sometimes falls asleep for a millisecond. But I thought we played terrific. Apart from that chance they had, I thought we were absolutely fantastic. Apart from the last few yards. Trossard, for me, if he wanted to hit the goal with his legs, he couldn't have done it, but he managed to. Right?
Yeah, he put it in the right area for it to do it, though.
Yeah, exactly. It was a brilliant save. Fabulous, world-class save, but he shouldn't have been able to save it, all right?
Yeah,
that's number one.
Chance.
Number two, I saw it the other week with Jesus. Why do these, and I've seen it with Havertz as well sometimes, when the ball comes across, why do they head it? And they're on top of the near post to the near post.
Yeah, across. Yeah.
I mean, I used to play forward sometimes. I wouldn't, you know, they're 5 million times better than me, but I would never do that. It's instinctively you don't.
You get taught, head it back where it came from. Yeah, that's the line.
And also, even if you do that when you're 5 yards, 10 yards out, you should do that, Kieran, as a centre forward, as forward. But when you're on top of the post, you've got nothing to aim at. You've got to go far post.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, it's all about. Anyway, that's that. I thought Saka missed one with his head as well. And I'm not sure if he was expecting the ball to come to him or not. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But he's missed a couple with his head this season now. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying that was a very good chance. And we had a couple of other situations where we should have done. I think Saka also missed a Similar one he scored against Bayern. He had a similar chance. And he just pushed it just past the post with shame.
Yeah.
But he had so many. I can think of others as well. Trossard, another chance. I mean, we were all like, we were playing some fabulous stuff. And when we went in at half time, I felt like we were getting beat and the writing was on the wall. I didn't say it, but I nearly said, because it would have been a bit defeatist, but I nearly said to Craig and the geezer next to me on the other side, I'll take a draw here. Because you could tell that momentum, they were getting momentum. And they had, I think it was nil corners the first half. How many corners they had the second half? It was like that little, that little crescent where you put the ball, that a hole nip at the end of the game. They had so many corners. It was ridiculous. It was really ridiculous. And it was like, God, what's going on? And I think the energy sat from us. Once Odegaard got done, then the energy went from us, I'm afraid. And it was very, very disappointing. And I hate to say it, but when you're 1-0 down or 2-0 down at home, you've got 5-10 minutes to go and you're struggling. Then you see Eddie warm up. You're thinking, the game's over, mate. It's all over. It's all
was
over.
he bringing him on because he wanted to save the people for today?
No, he put him on right near the end. He was evidently he tried to bring him on. It was when it was 1-0, and as he was getting ready, they scored their second. So he had to bring him on anyway. But he's not the answer, is he? He's not the answer.
It's not the answer, and I'm sure that will be changed in the summer. Steve, some big misses against Aston Villa, and then in the end we gifted it to him. Big loss, disappointing, and especially after Liverpool dropped points only an hour earlier. Yeah,
big loss, like you said. I thought we was poor. Melvin said a lot of it. I agree with nearly all of it. Everything he said there. I thought, a few little different things that hasn't been mentioned. I thought Arteta got it wrong. I thought he got the team select from the beginning.
What do you think he get wrong?
Zinchenko at left back. I was worried. I was worried about, from the off. I was like, oh no. Do you know what I mean? I had this worry in me from kick-off. I don't know why he played Havertz in the midfield. That, if it's not broken, why change it? Havertz has been, probably one of our most integral players over the last, 10, 15 games in the number 9 position. Why are you playing Jesus there? It turned out to be a mistake. And my worries were found to be right in the end, because I thought Jesus was awful. I didn't think he offered anything during the game. I thought he was poor. He should have scored the header. And for me, it was a bad performance all round. But Ben White, I thought, had his worst game for ages. I thought Zaniolo was causing him problems for most of the game. And Zaniolo ain't great, is he?
I didn't think much of him. Yeah, I didn't think much of him. And then he had a good second half.
And then,
the first half, I was thinking, I don't rate this player. And I thought he was all right when he was younger.
Rice was off it.
Yeah.
Rice had a poor game. He looked tired. Do you know what I mean? He looks like he's. So that was me worried. Do you know what I mean? If he's beginning to tire a little bit, because he's like really important to the team. So if he's tiring, and he didn't. It was just nobody had a good game, and everyone's got to blame. Really, I thought our two best players were Havertz and Odegaard. Odegaard was good. Again,
different level, Odegaard, different level.
Yeah,
Havertz was making runs, getting in positions, getting into the channels, playing some nice balls, got a nice cross. Should have scored. The other, whoever, I forget who it was. Was that the cross for Jesus? I think it was, and he headed it. Those two were the best players. The rest of them were poor. Saliba and Gabriel shaky. It was un-Arsenal like. But I just think Arteta got it wrong, and we spoke about at the beginning of the show. We spoke about like when you play in the Champions League and you get these clever managers who can outfox you. But you got to get Emery outfoxed him again. Do he's a good manager? I tell you, I know a lot of people have had a go at Unai Emery, but he is a top manager. And when you go up against him, you've got to be a clever man, to outfox him in a tactical battle.
But you think we played into their hands though a little bit?
Yeah, I just think we was poor. I don't know what it was like when you look at Arsenal over since the start of the year, and you see the way we've been playing. The way we pressurise them, the way we're in their faces. The way we close people down when Villa get the ball. You're right. The front players are on them. The midfielders are closing down quick. There wasn't none of that, and I think whether that was something to do. I think maybe that was something to do with the changes in midfield. I think he got it wrong. I think Zinchenko coming into the midfield, it didn't work with him coming in. He was getting caught out at the back. And Havertz not going into the number 8, and him having to do a new job in the midfield. I think it all again. Why change it? Arteta's got to hold his hands up. I think on this one because I really think those changes. I know it's only 2 changes, but I think them two changes affected. About 6 or 7 of the players, the way they've been playing. White couldn't do what he was doing. Havertz was all over. A player. Odegaard wasn't, although he had a good game, wasn't able to do his thing with like he's been doing in recent weeks with Havertz in the 9. All of a sudden, he's got Jesus there. Jesus had a nightmare game. Yeah.
Do you think he's trying to rotate it so that he's keeping everyone fresh in the last stages of the season? Because he's going to need more players than the starting 11 that he's been picking week in, week out since the start of January.
Yeah, yes. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I think maybe the worry is that maybe we still our players that he brings on are not good enough. I mean, Smith-Rowe come on, Eddie Nketiah come on. Why ain't Vieira getting a game? What's the matter?
I think we're seeing what we saw last season with all the players that were out for a long period of time, and he doesn't want to bring him back into a title race. I mean, we've got Partey sitting there, and he's been fit for about 3 weeks now. But
does he trust him?
But can you bring in a Thomas Partey in his final run of the season who's only played 4 games all season? That's a big risk.
Yeah,
these players. Who do you take him out for? Declan Rice, Jorginho? It's a big risk, and I think it's the same that we saw with Emil Smith-Rowe last season, but we're seeing it with Fabio Vieira, which is why you're seeing probably more of Emil Smith-Rowe because they've been fit, because they've had more game time in recent weeks. If you're bringing on a Fabio Vieira, do you start him? Who do you start him against?
No, you don't.
This is what I mean. It's the business end of the season. It's a fine balancing act, and it looks like he's trying to balance it, but it's just not going right. Some of the more experienced players in Zinchenko aren't sort of putting in good performances that they were when they first came to Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus has been too on and off in terms of his fitness, which you're probably seeing now is affecting his game. You can't swap out the 2 centre backs. They're going to have to see it out to the end of the season. It's going to start. It's going to get tough. It's going to get tough, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, if not drop points, some tough games, which you probably expect to trounce the team. You might see us struggle a little bit.
I think you can change. I don't mind him changing it up with the players, but it's like it seemed to change the system, and the whole system went. Our whole way of playing went different. Do you know what I mean? If you're replacing I don't know, if you was to put Jorginho and I don't know, it's awkward. I mean, swapping Jorginho for Havertz is 2 totally different players.
Mm-hmm.
They're totally different. You're putting two different players in a different position. Yeah. And even if Rice plays in the 8. He's totally different from Havertz. So it was like we was playing a different strategy. But, it was disappointing. It was annoying. We just got to hope that we can get round it. One thing that did annoy me, and it wasn't part of the game, but I've got to bring it up because I haven't mentioned it. And, just for some therapy. What was Zinchenko doing kicking the ball out? Was anyone else?
Yes.
Well, I was Do you know what? If he was 10 yards, 10 yards, I don't care if he would have been Ukraine. I would have got his head and smashed it against their moldings. Right? I was like, "What are you doing?"
I don't understand why people do that anyway.
I was
But
fuming,
it's such a vital part of the game. Vital part of the game. I don't know. This when you're in a title run, there ain't no time for gentlemanly conduct when it comes to that. Like,
Can I just say,
head injury?
Yeah, no, that's different. Can I just say that when we bought Jesus and Shevchenko, one of the ideas was being put around. We've actually bought people who know what it is to win the league.
He kicks it out the ball. He kicks it out.
But can you imagine if you're in a team, you do that, and you've got Roy Keane as captain, what he would do to you?
We saw
up against the dressing room.
Do you know what, Milv? I was. Do you know
I
what?
was going, man. The crowd.
I
don't know if you heard it on the TV, Steve, but the crowd were going, no.
Yeah.
You could hear people going, no, you're not. No, don't be. No, you're not. No, don't be shit. No.
But did you see Saka's reaction? Erdegaard's reaction? They were like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" They're both.
And the other team was shaking his hand. The other team was shaking his hand.
They are. They couldn't believe their luck.
That mentally did us, I think. That didn't help, put it that way.
Yeah,
and he had a mare anyway. Shevchenko had a mare anyway, be honest with you.
Yeah, he did.
He had an absolute. And going back to Jesus, you saw he got the ball on the wing. He had a defender to beat, just one. And he didn't. You knew he had no chance of beating him with speed. It was a 50-50 ball. They're both running in the same direction, and he's lost his speed, mate.
It was with Diego Carlos.
That's it. Unless he gets that.
Diego Carlos.
Is that his name? Yeah. I mean that I thought, my God, he really has lost his
pace. Yeah,
lost his pace, and that was unfortunate to see. And also with Havertz, what I noticed as well is that he got a couple of through balls where he had to run 50 yards with the ball. He ain't going to run 50 yards with the ball. Yeah, he's better off when he plays up front. He's got 5 or 10 yards to move with the ball. He might get somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's got to run 30 or 40 yards with the ball, it bobbles anyway off his foot sometimes. He ain't going to control it. He's not going to control that ball for 40 yards. He's either going to get pushed off or his 2 feet are going to come together because he's a bit gangly, isn't he? So playing in midfield was a no-no, absolute no-no. And, as you say, don't change something or something, or fix it, something that's not broken. That's the expression, isn't it? I don't mind making 1 or 2 changes positionally, but not like he did. But having said that, the first half we did very well. So I just don't know. And also go back to Wembley Smith-Rowe, as I think he's fantastic. He didn't look in. He looked like a broken reed to me when he came on. He bottled out a couple of challenges, which I've never seen him do before. He didn't seem to have the appetite. And I think that the guy I don't want to see it, but I think for the good of him, he needs to go. He needs to move on because he needs a fresh start. Because I think he's just been battered mentally with his club. I really do.
Right, let's quickly take a look at the reaction of some of the players when Zinchenko kicked that ball out. If you take a look at Saka, he can't believe it. What are you doing? What are you doing? He can't believe it.
He should be fined for that.
I'd fine him. 100%. I don't know.
That guy was badly injured, though. He only played for another 60 minutes.
Couldn't care less. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. What happened as well? I mean, before we go on to the reaction, what happened with the fans, Mel? What was all this big thing about the fans walking out?
Yeah, I was going to say, Mel. It's been in recent weeks. There's been a lot of criticism with the atmosphere in the stadium. Luton game was the first one.
The atmosphere went down for different reasons, right? Number one, the Luton one was a non-event, right? It was 2-0, but it was like a training session.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to get the crowd going there. We went 2-up, and it was like everyone's looking at their watch. What's for supper? You know what I mean? One of those. It was really a boring game, which we don't mind. Give me 3 points, I'll have a boring game the rest of the season. Against Villa, when it was, I think it was 8 minutes extra time we were playing. After 96 minutes, I left. Right, I'm a bad boy. I don't normally leave early, but I thought I want to get home. I just want to get home. And at the end of the day, I wasn't enjoying it. The second half was crap, and I said to someone put a friend of mine said, someone that we know said, you should never leave before the end of a match. Well, I would say to them, if you've seen a crap film, do you wait to the end to see all the titles at the end, or do you leave, go to the missus, come on, we're going?
But Mel, that's 2 minutes. You left 2 minutes. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
What about?
It was empty at 80 minutes. 80 minutes.
Yeah.
People were gone.
Was it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, you could easily see it on the telly.
No.
And then there was so there's 17 minutes left of the game left.
I saw. I wanted to see how much extra time, and when it was like 2 minutes, minute or 2 minutes, I thought if I can just beat that crowd, I'll get home a little bit.
No, I've done that many a time when I had a season ticket, and now I've done that. Done that. This was like on the 80th minute, everybody was like, and it was it's just not.
It wasn't enjoyable, Steve, to be there. If I could be there for a minute or two less, I'll take it, because it was a horrible. You're sitting there and you can feel a cloud over you.
No, but these people, I think a lot of these. I think what it was. I think when you see that, I think people people who are watching, Arsenal fans that are that can't go to the games and are watching it, and also you're seeing media and other rival fans watch that, and I think they're right. I think they are right, and it's like, what entitles you to react the way Arsenal fans have reacted after that game, right? And also on top of that, the way that you've played this season, why you've all of a sudden now turning on them and going out the stadium 10 minutes early?
Well, let's focus on the more negative, Steve. There's been a only a small minority, but there's been enough to make a few waves that some of the big accounts are telling to shut up, basically. But there's a few fans out there that are calling for Mikel Arteta's head because they feel like he's some have used the term bottled. So one of them I heard was the main protagonist to the reason why we've not won the league. What's your take on that? One loss in 2020, one loss in 2024.
This is it. This is it. I mean, I hate that word bottle. Really, if it's anybody wants to trigger me or wind me up, just keep saying it.
Yeah, I can't stand it either.
I hate that. It shows a lack of respect and a lack of brain cell. Right? That's what when people say that, right? A lack of respect to the players, a lack of respect to what a team's done all season. I've heard
other teams in the league.
Yeah, and that goes for Liverpool as well, because they've lost at Palace. They've bottled it. Arsenal lost. They've bottled it. I hate it. I really, really hate it. But on the Arteta thing, mate, you see, this is what it is. I mean, I don't know. We've had a fantastic season. I'd grab your hand off again to be in this situation again this next season, in this same situation as we are now talking. And you're getting people, you lose one game, and it's like, whoa, has Arteta got what it takes? It's ridiculous. We're in a quarterfinal, we're in a shootout of a Champions League final, and I'm still confident we can win the league. I still think Man City can drop points. I still feel that, Fulham away is going to be difficult. I feel Brighton away and they might drop points. I feel it, and Tottenham away, I think they could definitely drop points. Can Arsenal go on and win the rest of their games? Probably will drop points. We've played
Fulham away, haven't we?
Right? No, I'm talking about Man City.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yep. So I don't get all this. I don't know who these people are and why they come out with this. These stupid statements that Arteta should be sacked because it's brainless. It's ridiculous. And I'm sure once they've been able to spend 5 hours trying to spell the word Arteta, A-R-T-E, is it E next? Because that's probably how stupid they are, right? They probably haven't got nothing to say after it. But
Steve, you've got to remember, some of these, not all of them, some of them do it for clicks, mate.
I get that. I mean, I get that. But even I even look at these people sometimes. I think, okay, AF Arsenal Fan TV, you're doing it for clicks.
I don't just mean them. I mean other people as well.
But do you really want to be? I mean, I couldn't have clicks for being stupid. Do you know what I mean?
But they do.
People build their career on it, Steve.
No, I
couldn't care less. I can't put out false transfer news because
you lose credibility.
Because even if like I got loads of money in it, which are you know people, I know people that do that. I still can't have in my ear and go to bed at night knowing that that's the way I roll. But
yeah, some people do it for clicks. I watched a clip. I watched a clip of Curtis yesterday, and it just seems so fake. You're talking about you're throwing your toys out the pram, and Zinchenko's made a mistake. You're talking about sack the manager. Genuine question to anyone out there that wants to talk about sacking Mikel Arteta: who do you bring in? And don't say Zidane, because why is Zidane going to come out of retirement to manage Arsenal? He's destiny. He's France. He's written 90% of his story, and that was with Real Madrid. The end goal is France. So why do people keep throwing around Zidane? He doesn't even want to learn English properly. What, you want Zidane to come over? He's not going to do it. Still, wake up. Wake up, people. Real Madrid. Go on.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I'm 100% right, because they don't actually talk about the things where you go, you know, we're us intelligent Arsenal fans to think out and go, there might be something that's a bit, you know, a bit above the station where you go, whoa, but you can think, you know, I get a point there. It's like I see someone yesterday, and they said, I think we should move on from Jesus. I don't think he's the guy. We need someone else. And I thought about it for a minute, and I thought, I can see where you're going. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I can see your point.
I think that when with a manager, the reason not to get rid of Mikel, although it's got nothing to do with us at all, is not because who we're going to get in. That's not necessarily the answer. The reason that I don't want to get rid of Mikel, and I have been very critical of him all the time, you know, I'll say it, is that look what he has done for us. When he came to us, we were Isthmian League. We were Isthmian League. Yeah. Second division, Isthmian League. And we were minus on the transfer because we had all these expensive players that were expensive for us to run, but we couldn't sell them because they were getting too much wages. We've actually tidied that up, thank you very much. We've got much finer players now. We have got some to get rid of. There's still a little bit of work to be done in that respect. We've got some players that really, we've mentioned them before, shouldn't really be with us next season. You know, they're past their sell-by date, as far as we're concerned. There's 4 of them, probably about 3 or 4 of them, I can think top of my head. And we will be better again next season. There's no reason why we shouldn't.
It's progressed.
We haven't got old players that go, oh my God, he's old now. He can't. I mean, you've got your the midfield. You've got Partey going where he might go, but he hasn't played for us. So where are we going to be worse off? We'll probably get someone in to actually complement Rice, who will play with Rice. Right. So no, I'm not.
But it's still we've got still like this. Let's like. We're still in what people got to understand is that we're still in a really, really good position.
2 points off top. If you said
Kieran, not 2 points off top, 2 points off Man City. That is even harder.
Yes, but it's still 2 points.
They've only got
that's what I'm saying. It's a great achievement to be 2 points after all this season.
Yeah, you're right.
Behind Man City, everyone's going Man City, this Man City, that, this, that,
and Liverpool. They were they saying about Liverpool. It's going to be, look, I know Arsenal in it, but
and all the punters were saying on Friday and Thursday, looking at who's to play, the genius were going, well, I can't see Liverpool losing another game next. So all that, you know what I mean? So I mean, we are against 2 juggernauts, historic juggernauts. And I said, in all the years I've been watching the Arsenal, I've seen us win the title quite a few times now. If we win the title this year, it's unlikely is not the right word. It's probably not going to happen, but it still could. If we win the title this year, in my opinion, of watching the Arsenal, this will be the finest title-winning team I've ever seen for beating two. We've only had to ever beat one juggernaut years ago. It was either Man United or Liverpool. Now we've had two juggernauts in the same season. And if we can win it, there's no excuses after that. It's our best, my best winning title team.
I mean, people might say I'm silly, and they probably will. I don't think nothing's changed. I don't think our goals have changed since after the loss against, Villa.
No, we had to. My head, every game.
My head is still in the same place, and
It's slightly different, Steve.
I don't think so.
It's not in our own hands anymore. No,
it's not. But what we've got to do is the same.
The talk before the loss against Villa, we've all got the same points. The talk was that everybody's going to drop points. That was like the majority of what people were saying. Everybody's going to drop points. Yeah. So in my head, maybe not in other people's, but in my head, Manchester City will somewhere along the line in the 6 games they got to play, for me, will drop points, whether it's 1, 2, 3, right? They will. Then I say to myself, I look at Arsenal's fixtures and I think, can Arsenal win their games? And I look at them and I think, Man United are Man United. Chelsea, we can beat Chelsea at home. Tottenham away will be tough, but look at them the other week. Look at them against Newcastle. We can win all our games. So I don't get this. What's changed? Since we've lost that. I expect Man City to drop a point. I think they will drop a point, and if they do drop 1 point, then we can. Then in my head, looking positively. Then the league's not in our hands because we've got the better goal difference. So they only need to draw 1 game. 1 game. It's not 2 points. It's 1 game. Draw 1 game. And that's the crux of it. And if that happens, Arsenal go on and win and they're the champions. So I don't get this, it's over. It's the end. How can it be? I can't get the logic around how it is. It's 1 point. They could go to Fulham, draw. Arsenal win the rest, Arsenal champions. It's as simple as that. They go to Tottenham, they draw, we win we're the champions.
Well, I don't like all this because it's basically we just got to do what we got to do to get.
That exactly, mate. That is what we've got to do what we got to do, but we had to do what we got to do before the Villa game, and it's the same afterwards. We've got to do what we got to do. I believe if we win our next 6 games, Arsenal will be the champions. So that's my goal. Go game to game, win every game, and I think we'll be the champions. So I think City will drop points.
All right. Well, Henty has called it. That is the time. Perfect time in there. Big games coming up. First of all, starting with Bayern Munich. We'll take it game by game in the Champions League quarterfinals. Can they get through? It will be a massive achievement if they can at the Allianz Arena. Followed after that by a tough game. It will be a tough game against Wolves. But we've got to be winning these games for the rest of the season, as Steve was saying there. Thank you for everyone who's joined us tonight. Thank you, Hente, who's been in the comments section all night, even though he was ready for bed when he first joined on. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support there. Quite a few people watching tonight. So if you are new to the show, come over to KS1 TV on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're here every Tuesday, post-match reactions. Also, join us on Monday night for the Super 6 podcast as well. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Melvin. Thank you very much for joining us, Steve.
Thanks for inviting
us. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Regular, mate. Here every week now.
It's always a therapy session on Tuesday nights when it comes to...
We won't be on next Tuesday, will we? We're playing.
Are we?
We've got Chelsea, haven't we? Is it next Tuesday?
No, it's Thursday, Chelsea.
No,
next
it's never.
Thursday.
I
think it's Thursday.
No, it's not.
It's here.
Tuesday.
Saturday, Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Next Tuesday, the 23rd of April. Oh, Saturday. Oh, wow. Game's coming thick and fast.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich tomorrow, Saturday Wolves, Tuesday Chelsea, followed by another derby, 2 derbies back to back, Chelsea and then Tottenham.
So we got Chelsea on the Tuesday and Tottenham on the
Saturday. That's mentally draining. It's mentally draining.
That is
That's a tough one.
That is baggy trousers, isn't it? That is madness.
It is. All right. It is madness. Very good. Very good. Very good. Thank you for joining us tonight, people. Peace out. Stay safe. And wash your hands.